Salam Radio wishes all of our community Ramadan Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum. You are tuning into Her Chronicles. I'm your host, Maleeha Iqbal. And for the next hour, I'll be discussing navigating Ramadan in a busy world. And I think just an honest perspective on what it's like, having, like a fast-paced life and, having other responsibilities and just being a Muslim and everything that comes with Ramadan, the stress, the triumphs, and everything else. So the question I want you to ask yourself as you're listening to this right now is, what do you want to gain from this Ramadan? I think that's the best way to, start off Ramadan. And I do know that we have completed the first week of Ramadan, alhamdulillah. But if you're someone still confused about, what you want from this Ramadan, or you're just not really feeling it this year, or, maybe you've just got a lot of burden that you want to release and a lot of hardships you're going through right now, and maybe you need to ask yourself this question and actually maybe write down the answer, maybe talk to someone about actually what you want to gain from this Ramadan, someone you trust. But I think finding the answer is hard as well, especially because Ramadan comes with so much blessing and so much sabr and, so much peacefulness, but it can also arise some nervous feelings, some maybe ill feelings, or, it can really make us feel stressed because we want to make the most out of Ramadan. It happens once a year, and when it's gone we feel like, I know I definitely feel like, well, you know what, I've not even made the most out of it, but it's too late. But is it too late? Not really. So I'm gonna be sharing some of the ways that have helped me feel a lot more calmer, and it has just slowed down my life. Because with Ramadan, we want to we don't take any minute for granted, because we should make the most out of it. We should be on top of our salah, and we should be making all the dua, asking for forgiveness, spending time with your family. Maybe you have such a busy life that you don't even really get to sit down with your family, and just the everyday tasks, maybe you're a lot more grateful for them. And yeah, just recognizing the little things in life as well. But here are some of the things that have helped me just slow down my day, but also make me feel like I'm doing the most out of each day, and I'm doing something productive that's gonna bring me closer to Allah, but also help me on this journey that I've began since Ramadan, really. So I think the first one is, just making dua. And, that's a big statement really to make, but what I mean by that is finding a way to make dua that works for you. And really understanding the importance of dua. I know I did a radio show on this before, but I think it's so, crucial and so beneficial to your life if you really understand the importance, the value, and the sense of healing dua will give you, whatever you're asking for, really understanding that, what, this dua will be answered for me when when Allah sees it's the right time for me. It will really change your perspective as a whole, and it will only make you have more tawakkul in Allah, have more trust in Allah, that everything happens for a reason, and I'm on this journey, and Allah's only going to give me the things that are right for me, and remove some aspects of my life or some people from my life that just aren't good for me at all. I like to make dua kind of in a safe space, in a safe environment, finding an environment that you feel you can just really unleash your feelings, whether you're writing it down, whether you're actually speaking. I think also writing a letter. My friend gave me this suggestion a few weeks ago about writing a letter to Allah and just saying how you're feeling about Ramadan right now, and just what everything that's happened in the past that's prevented you from wanting to gain the closeness with Allah. And maybe you just write down everything you're feeling, what you're feeling in the moment, what you want to achieve from this Ramadan, and also the things that I think we're scared to admit, the things that are kind of holding us back from really making the most out of this Ramadan. So writing a letter can really help. You're not sending it anywhere, but just actually physically seeing it there and then putting in the envelope and sealing it shut could really help you feel a bit more at ease. It can really just take some weight off your shoulder, and it's a step forward. You've actually acknowledged, okay, what's preventing me from just praying my salah, what's preventing me from constantly not letting my anger get to me, what exactly is it? And getting to the root of the problem can be really beneficial. But you might also need support and guidance, maybe professional guidance, or support from friends and family, because sometimes it's not always the case that we can deal with this kind of pressure and this kind of anxiety ourselves. One thing that I've implemented into this Ramadan, which I've not really done any other Ramadan, I believe, is limiting my time on social media, to slowly then completely cutting social media out of my life. This for me was just like a bit of a challenge, I'm not gonna lie, because everything's on social media, and I'm not just saying that I'm going on social media to check out the new trends and see which celebrities doing what. Social media to me is a way of seeking knowledge on on Islam, knowledge from the job industry I want to go into. I'm constantly trying to find out more information, but I also use social media as kind of an escape from reality at times, when you want to just off your brain and you want to just be slightly entertained. And there are quite a few entertaining things on social media, but how is it beneficial? How is it actually going to help us this Ramadan? I think really understanding, okay, I'm actually going to sit here and I'm going to spend let's say 20 minutes on TikTok. That's a lot of time when you really think about it. 20 minutes. 20 minutes when you could be doing something like, let's say, just going downstairs, communicating with your family, spending time with your family, maybe, getting on with one of your school assignments. Maybe you're just shut your eyes, you want to rest. But instead of doing all those things that would just be so much more better for you, I'm just going on social media instead. And so after having this kind of epiphany, like, why am I really wasting my time? Like, what am I actually gaining from scrolling endlessly on my For You page of just random weird videos, when I could just be making a lot more, when I could just really be trying to take control of my Ramadan in the best way and really trying to work on myself. And I'm not saying you have to, go read Quran, like that is good. You should be doing that as well. But maybe you just have like 10 minutes where you just kind of shut your brain. So you're not using your brain, but what you are doing then is, in a way, kind of meditating, kind of, just shutting your eyes and really just thinking. And maybe you're just trying to feel that oneness with Allah, finding ways to just really find peace within yourself, especially after you've had a really busy day. And let's say something didn't go your way, or, you didn't really have the greatest day. I think we tend to use social media as then to like escape from the reality, but in a way we're not actually facing it. We're not actually facing our feelings. We're kind of just offing them. And I feel like that's what I kind of do at times when turning to social media as a source of entertainment. So I find that actually meditating and really being one with my feelings, in the sense that actually I'm processing how I felt about today and thinking about, okay, what did I actually do today that was productive, that was, that I feel I'm proud of, and I think that is a great way to kind of have a more positive mindset that will then help you become a better person during Ramadan, is understanding, okay, I'm not going to go on social media today, actually. Instead, I'm going to think about what I did today, what I actually want to do tomorrow, inshallah. What am I going to do to help better my life in this 20 minutes? And what am I going to do tomorrow that's also going to help me? Having that mindset of, okay, yes, you are allowed to have downtime. Maybe watch a TV show instead of using social media. Maybe find a new book. Maybe you develop a new hobby, or you continue a hobby that you kind of left for a while. So I know for me, I just recently got back into reading, which is actually a huge achievement for me, as I never really used to be much of a reader. I was never really much of a bookworm. Always wanted to be, though, because it looked like a bunch of fun, but it just never really was for me. So I think finding a book that's just going to grasp your attention, maybe it's an Islamic book, maybe it's not, but just finding another way to grab your attention and really pull you in to like another dimension, let's say, to kind of escape reality by not using social media, instead of like maybe you're using a book instead, will help you so much more, because you're reading, you're focusing, and your attention span is lasting a lot longer than like the 2-minute clips you see on TikTok. So maybe if you are trying to take a break from social media, what I would say is probably put a time limit on the app. I find that really actually helps me, because then once that time limit comes and it just completely kicks me off the app, that's it. I'm done. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I don't feel like I'm cutting it down too much, that I'm just gonna completely ignore the screen limit and I'm just gonna, all my hard work's gone for nothing then. What I'm then doing is almost in a way tricking my mind into thinking, no, this is just my new normal of going on social media, and that's it. I've had a little taste for it and I'm done. So I think that is a really good way of doing it. But like I said, social media is very addictive. And if you are addicted to social media, just think this is just a month. If you can make it through a month, then you can continue to do this. Social media is going to be there. It's still going to be there. If you want to go on it, you can, but it's not going away. But this Ramadan, it's going so fast, and we only have 2.5 more weeks left. So really make the most of it. It can be hard to navigate your life when you're fasting, because we recognize is the holiest month of our lives, and we should be making the most out of it. But it can be overwhelming and intimidating because maybe we're not physically or mentally ready for this Ramadan. But one thing I really, really do believe is that Ramadan comes at the perfect time for us. I've never felt that feeling before. And I used to hear people say it, and I used to think, well, no, I just think it comes when it comes, But this year specifically, I've never needed it more. And that has really, really kind of it's just kind of uplifted me, because I just feel like Ramadan is in a way saving me right now. It's saving me from a downward spiral. It's saving me from feeling stressed and anxious about just, everything in our everyday lives. And I think it's giving me a new sense of oneness and a new sense of peacefulness that I've never experienced before. And I hope whoever's listening to this, I really hope you also feel the same, that, Ramadan has come at the perfect time for you, because maybe Allah needed you to take a break. Maybe Allah needed you to acknowledge how grateful you should be, and maybe you just needed this to really heal your heart. So I think having that mindset, you will see Ramadan in such a beautiful way, and in a way you don't want it to end. And that's kind of it. But, even after Ramadan goes, inshallah, we can still continue with our good habits that we have incorporated into this Ramadan. We can continue with that gratefulness from just seeing everything that's happening in the world right now, realizing how grateful you are to be in the position you're in, especially in Ramadan. It's just a new level of, wow, Allah truly is the greatest for giving me all this, and I truly am blessed. I think that's just that's what we need to, that's the mindset we need to have in our lives always. And inshallah, we do continue to have that mindset throughout the whole of this year. But that one other thing that I think has really helped me, and I know I've spoken to quite a few people, like friends, who have also used this setting goals aspect in their lives this Ramadan, and it just kind of sets out a clear guide, and they're just like set in stone rules. Well, not rules, but just realistic goals that we want to implement into this Ramadan and continue this journey. But I think I've created these productive and achievable goals. So I used a goal planner, which I just made from my notebook. So I got this idea from TikTok, and I'm so glad I came across this video. So what you want to do is you want to grab your favorite notebook, something special to you, and then you write down 6 topics, and then you're going to leave 2 spaces in between the topics. So for the 6 topics, I wrote down Quran, Qiyam, which is night prayer, Da'ah, relationships, charity, and spiritual seclusion. So under each 2 topics, I wrote down 2 realistic goals that I know I can achieve every day if I really keep on top of it. So for example, the 2 goals I wrote down for spiritual seclusion is number 1 is 60 sessions of meditation every day. So this means shutting away from the outside world and resting my mind in a peaceful and calm environment. And the second goal is making time to journal. So I've touched on journaling before, and I'm not gonna lie, me and journaling, we kind of have a love-hate relationship, because on one hand, I do think it is just so great at really releasing feelings, you know, it gives you something productive to do each day. And, you know, by journaling, you're connecting with yourself, your mind, your body, your soul, which is something everyone should be doing every day. But sometimes I do get lazy and I don't want to journal all the time. And I think that is realistic. Like, it's just, it can be quite time consuming. And I find that sometimes it can just be slightly draining, especially in Ramadan, because after I come back from uni, I think I just want to off my mind for a while. But I also want to write down like everything that happened that day, you know, what I exactly did, how I was feeling. But it can be overwhelming at times, especially if, let's say, one day you just don't do one of the goals. You're gonna feel upset with yourself. You're gonna feel like you're taking a step backwards. So I try and do this thing where I use my phone, the journal app, instead of actually writing it down. You should do whatever you feel is best for you. Some people do find it better to write down their feelings so they can actually see it. But if I don't have that much time, I will take like 5 to 10 minutes, write down in my journal pad on my app. And I still feel like I'm making most out of being, I'm just finding that spiritual seclusion. It's just me and the notepad, and I'm just expressing myself to it, really. And inshallah, that will then continue and I will try to keep up with it. But sometimes there will be a slip up, a day or two. But don't feel, I know I feel quite down about it, and I'm just like, oh no, you're ruining it for yourself, But, it's okay. Not everyone is perfect. And sometimes, you just want to have one of those days, and that's fine. So allocating your time wisely could really help with this, Maybe you feel like you have to do quite a lot when you get home. Especially maybe if you're a mother, you're taking care of your kids, and you've come back from work and you've got all these job roles to do and these responsibilities, and, just taking care of your kids. But you don't have to do it all by yourself, delegating roles, having that time for you, whether it's just 10 minutes, but making the most out of it. Having your moment where you can really just worship Allah, connect with Allah, and also just make whatever du'as you need to do. So don't feel like you have to do it all by yourself. But allocating time wisely can really help boost your imam, in the sense of, I always like to read Quran after I come back from uni. So I will always come back, do wuzu, and then pray Asr, and then just straight away open my Quran. So I'm not second guessing it. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm just going to get into bed. I'm not thinking, wait, I need to do this. I need to go downstairs and help, because there's always time. There's always time to do the rest of the stuff. But making that time for Allah and Allah's words, you need that time. You need that time to really connect with the words that are written in the Quran, and you need that time to really understand actually what the real definition of Ramadan is. Maybe you want to recite a favorite surah, And that's one of the ways that you really find Ramadan a really enjoyable and exciting time. So yeah, setting realistic goals will really help you, because it really helped me, because I'm able to then not feel upset or feel like a failure if I don't complete one day, but having that as a reminder. And actually, because I wrote down those goals, I feel like, oh, you know what, I really do need to work on that more. And maybe I'm going to make time for this, and I'm going to plan out my day so I'm able to be productive, make the most out of it, and really focus on my goals and ways I'm going to make them into my everyday life. But inshallah, join me after the break where I talk about being on your menstrual cycle in Ramadan.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
When you send money to your family for Ramadan, send it with Remitly. Because our great rates and low fees mean that more money makes it to your loved ones. Millions of people trust Remitly to send money to Pakistan, Bangladesh, and many more countries worldwide. Ramadan Kareem from Remitly, wishing you a peaceful time. Download the Remitly app. Remitly UK Limited is authorized and regulated by the FCA.
Masterminds Tuition Academy is for your high schoolers, your something to provers, your subject strugglers and keen learners, your brave jumpers and fist pumpers. Affordable personalised learning plans are delivered through our centres in schools across Peterborough. But not to worry, we also provide online and home visits with flexible timings. Whether it is maths, English, science or 11+, Masterminds is a must. Find us on all socials and visit our website, mastermindstuitionacademy.com, or call us on 07516 166 003. Masterminds, master the matrix.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Satisfy your cravings at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant. Enjoy a tantalising variety of Chinese, Italian, Pakistani and comfort food favourites, from starters to desserts. Kids under 5 dine for free, so bring the whole family to our restaurant at 63 Sycamore Avenue. Open every day from 5pm to 10:30pm. Call us on 01733 313131 or book online to reserve your table. Ibrahimi-restaurant.co.uk. Every bite is a delight at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant.
At Masters Pharmacy, we put your health and convenience first. We offer free blood pressure checks and blister-packed medication. With our free same-day prescription delivery service, you can have your medication when you need it. We also offer travel vaccinations, including Hajj and Umrah, along with other services to meet all your pharmacy needs. For more information, contact Masters Pharmacy on 01733 567 208 or visit us at 303 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PH.
2020 World Buffet is inspired by the best foods from around the world. See our teppanyaki chefs grill your food to order, or choose delicious Indian, Italian, Chinese, Mexican dishes and British favourites, all halal. 2020 World Buffet offers you unlimited food at a set price. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner. Catering, wedding and party services available too. Call 01733 566 320 or visit 2020buffet.co.uk. 2020 World Buffet, 35 New Road, Peterborough, PE1 1FJ.
Salam Radio wishes all of our community Ramadan Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum. You are tuning into Her Chronicles. So I've been discussing navigating Ramadan in a busy world and how we can make the most out of Ramadan by incorporating good habits and also changing necessary things in order to have a more positive and a more peaceful Ramadan. And I think a huge factor that plays into how you really view Ramadan is how you're going to improve your character. So improving your character can just be a small or huge aspect of Ramadan, and it's just more of a personal journey. So maybe you're someone who wants to improve on a personality trait. Maybe you can be insensitive at times and make insensitive jokes. Maybe you allow your temper to get the best of you at times. Or maybe you're trying to learn how to be a better daughter or a better friend. Or maybe all of these. But I think trying to improve your character is a very long journey that has a lot of obstacles in the way that we have to overcome. But if you are trying and you are identifying bad habits that you have allowed to happen in your life, or maybe it's just your personality that you want to work on slightly to become a better Muslim, and incorporate good characteristics that we see in the Quran and how to be a better Muslim and what a good Muslim should have in their heart. So in order to work on, improving your character, I think the best way to go about it is, I'll give you an example. So for me, I was trying to improve on becoming a better friend. Well, I still am. So I was in a bit of a predicament as I recently had a falling out with a friend, and this was before Ramadan. And it was hard. It was a fallout, but because it was, she lives in a different city, I found we were communicating over text, which I think communicating over text itself, can be really annoying, especially when you don't really know the tone of the message, or you don't really know how that person's feeling, because you can't actually communicate with them and you can't really see the feeling on their face. And I feel like you can't just really understand what the issue is exactly. So yeah, that itself was very, very hard, it being over text. But then I kind of reached out and wanted to make amends, especially, we had Ramadan coming up really soon. I just wanted to I wanted her to forgive me, and I wanted to forgive her, and I just wanted us to move past this. But her heart was hurt, and so was mine from that specific argument, and I feel like she couldn't move past it yet because we hadn't actually spoken in person and discussed actually how we made each other feel. So she did, just send me a really nice text, and she just said, we'll talk after Ramadan, and, may Allah, just allow your heart to heal and, be able to come your best self in Ramadan. And I also gave her a similar message like that. But although we did nip it in the bud slightly, I still really want to have that talk with her, and I want to be able to communicate with her in a way that we can both just move past this. But going back to trying to become a better friend, and normally I would let my feelings completely take over, that I sometimes wouldn't actually use my mind, instead of just use my heart and listen to whatever my heart's feeling at that moment. And at times it was anger and frustration because I couldn't really see her point of view at times, but I didn't let my anger get the best of me. And I just went straight to Allah. I said, you know what, Allah, if clearly we both upset each other, but I want you to put me in her shoes and really understand where she's coming from. And ever since I made that dua, I'm really starting to feel a different way about the situation. And I really tried to, I sat down and I really analysed, okay, she said this, she said, how she felt, but why? Why did I make her feel this way? And I think really analysing it and really thinking, okay, well, you know what, I understand why she would have thought that. Okay, I understand now why she could feel like that. I think Allah really, granted me the right answer in, I value this friend so much, and, I really do wish her the best. And instead of, being hasty and responding to that message that upset me, I'm instead trying to see her point of view and, hear and understand really her feelings before I just jump into anger and I write something I will regret. It's just not helpful, and it doesn't help us move forward by writing a message that isn't a step forward. So I think trying to become a better friend is really trying to understand your friend's feelings and really trying to be there for your friend regardless of what they're going through. And she is going through a lot of hardship right now, but inshallah she does heal from all of this, and Allah grants her patience and peace, and inshallah we will be reunited where we can actually talk in person. But I think acknowledging how people make you feel and how you make them feel is a step forward in becoming a more active and a more making your friendship more closer, that you actually become sisters. So improving your character, it can come from what was once a really hard situation. Maybe there was an argument with a family member or even with yourself, really, but making the most of the argument and turning it around and seeing, okay, this is where I went wrong. I was in the wrong during this time, what am I going to do to make this better? Having that active, positive mindset can really help you improve your character. But along with that, I think also eating healthy and everything in moderation can also really help you in terms of the physical aspect of Ramadan and also the mental aspect as well, because, I think in Ramadan, at times, I think people, especially me, we kind of get a bit crazy with food. We feel like we need to have everything in one meal, starters, mains and desserts, but that's just not true, is it? As much as we crave all these foods during the day, alhamdulillah, we do have food on the table when we do break our fast. But, I think just eating what you would even if you weren't fasting, like eating everything in moderation, trying to stay away from that fried food, but it can be a little hard at times. But, allowing yourself to also enjoy the fried food once in a while, it won't do that much harm to you, I don't think. But, also hydrating yourself, eating plenty of fruit. I know I'm not really the best when it comes to eating fruit, because I do say to myself, what's the point of being filled up on just fruit? Which is bad. I know I should be eating a lot more fruit, but, you know, always trying to get your vitamins in, have your greens in, incorporate it in your meals, and, you know, still be eating that fried food because it is delicious. But another thing I really wanted to touch on is being on your menstrual cycle in Ramadan. So often Muslim women feel guilty for something so natural, such as their period. So they often spend the week, you know, hiding out in their rooms and sneaking a bite when they can. So I know for me, when my menstrual cycle does come, I do feel a sense of guilt because, you know, especially if it's in the last 10 days, you know, when you're feeling like, oh, you know, I really should be making the most out of it, these 10 powerful nights, and I can't pray, I can't make dua, and, you know, I feel like the Ramadan feeling has just gone. You know, all my hard work, me setting these goals and sticking with these goals, is all gone now because I can't do anything. When that's just not, yes, it's obviously upsetting at times, and yes, you can feel that sense of guilt, but also be proactive, you know. Say to yourself, okay, you know what, this hasn't gone the way I wanted it to, but that's not to say you can't still recite and, you know, still feel connected to Allah. You know, you can still recite Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, you know, 33 times each, and reciting Subhanallah. You know, you can do this in places of the time you would pray during the day. You know, the words are praises to Allah. So, you know, Allah will hear this and you will be granted whatever you've asked Allah for, inshallah, if it is the right thing for you. But, you know, use this time, you know, you're on your menstrual cycle, use it as a time to maintain your worship and continue your ibadat. But also, it's just giving you a break. It's giving your body a break because your body needs it, and your body needs time to rest and to heal, and it needs a lot more nutrition. So don't feel too down about it. Don't feel like you need to feel guilty about it or shamed for being, you know, on your menstrual cycle in Ramadan. Don't feel that way at all. So whilst some Muslim women, they are rejoiced about it, it could be the opposite feelings to other people. So I think one thing that really helps me is also still making my du'as, my everyday normal du'as that I would make, but also incorporating, you know, the Alhamdulillah 33 times. Either you do it on maybe a tasbih or you're doing it on your hands. That can just really help you feel like, okay, I'm still on track. I'm still making the most out of this Ramadan, and I'm still getting all the blessings that I would have received if I was also praying as well. And you can still make du'as, although not physically. You can still pray as well, just one-to-one with Allah, and the communication is still ongoing, you know. So these hacks can ensure that you maintain your worship and keep earning the rewards of Ramadan despite not being able to fast or pray. But inshallah, we do all make the most of this Ramadan. I think obviously as women, especially if you have children, Ramadan can feel like an ordinary day, you know, full of cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids. But, you know, you're always prioritizing other things, but you should also be prioritizing yourself and your relationship with Allah and how you're going to make the most out of this Ramadan. So, you know, when you do have those free moments in Ramadan, you know, fit in as many pages of the Quran, maybe before your children wake up. try to steal those moments, where it can just be you and Allah, you communicating with Allah, you making dua, or maybe you're just meditating, maybe you're just closing your eyes, shutting off from the rest of the world. But, just those spare moments when you can really utilize them to, recite the words of Allah, or maybe listening to something beneficial, such as maybe a Muslim podcast where they talk about Ramadan. I know I've really been into podcasts this Ramadan especially. I've been listening to Not Even Water. I believe that's on BBC Asian Network. I find that hilarious, but very insightful at the same time. Just listening to how so many Muslims around the world, how they view Ramadan and what special thing they do in Ramadan that they look forward to it every year. So to some people, that's, spending time with their family. To others, that's actually escaping from reality and closing off their world to just spend with Allah, just finding that oneness, finding that closeness to Allah that they wouldn't really feel when it's just their everyday lives. And I just think hearing those stories is actually, in a way, it's really wholesome, because I think it's so beautiful how you could ask any single Muslim out there, and I believe that they would give you maybe similar answers, but they can also give you really different answers of how they make the most out of each Ramadan and how we can all learn from each other. So I remember one of the girls I actually heard on there spoke about how she went to Malaysia during Ramadan one year, and she'd never really felt that close to her religion before, or Islam before, but going to Malaysia and seeing the beauty of how they represent Islam there and how it's in their character and in their identity, and their personalities are so kind and generous, really showing what a true Muslim should be. And immediately she felt a new connection to Ramadan she'd never felt before, just because of the people she was surrounded by. And that's why I believe that the people, your environment, the people that you are surrounded by can really make you or break you. And I think beforehand she was saying how she was in an environment where people weren't really supportive of her in Ramadan, in her workplace. And she lived alone, so not having that family support, having those, your family around the table can really take a toll on your mental health. And maybe it could discourage you from becoming a better version of yourself in Ramadan because you feel a sense of loneliness. But, her actually making that step, going to Malaysia during Ramadan and being around people who supported her, who made Ramadan just so much more special and really helped her see the beauty of Islam and how it's not too late, It's not too late to make a change in your life and want better for yourself. And Allah's going to be nothing but accepting. As long as you try, Allah will see this and inshallah grant you so much more, that you're going to feel so much more closer to the religion, so much more closer to yourself, and it will start you on the journey to have a purer heart, I believe. So yeah, going back to just being a woman in everyday life and navigating Ramadan, it can be hard at times because we have university and we have school and you have work or you have children, and in the 21st century everything's go, and normally in everyday life we don't really have those times that we can really slow down and really just connect just connect with the world, connect with yourself, because we constantly think we need to do more and we need to work on ourselves, but sometimes we're just forgetting the basics of just praying our salah, you know, even just like the little things like getting plenty of rest. I know for me in Ramadan, sleeping has not been great for me, only because waking up from suhoor, it can kind of mess around with my sleeping schedule, because I'm someone who, if I'm asleep, I'm asleep. If I'm get slightly woken, I'm awake, and I won't really be able to sleep as well. So that can be quite annoying at times. But, you know, alhamdulillah, we wake up for suhoor, we eat and we pray, and, you know, that's great. But I think maybe if you are struggling with sleeping, you come back from school or you come back from uni or work, and you do make time to sleep, allocate the time where you're just gonna come back and just get into bed, maybe sleep for like even 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so you are getting enough sleep that you feel slightly more energized, but you feel like your headache has slightly gone, because I know I get some terrible headaches when I don't sleep well, and you also feel a lot more energized. So maybe sleeping is one thing you should be adding to your schedule. But as well, I would definitely recommend using setting goals as a really good mechanism of keeping on top of this Ramadan. You know, going back to that answer, what do you actually want to come out of this Ramadan? If you can achieve all those goals, I think you're answering that answer. You know, you're progressing as a Muslim and as someone who wants to become better and who wants to gain more understanding of Islam, gain more understanding of yourself, of your environment, of your relationships. You know, it's the little things in life that we don't really look at as, you know, huge things at times, but they are, and we should be grateful for everything and really trying to make the most out of this Ramadan. But, you know, with that comes, you have to put your all into it. You have to try your hardest. You know, it's all good saying, you know what, I'm gonna become a better person, I'm gonna become a better Muslim. You know, but how are you going to do that? What is your step-by-step plan? And if you're someone who doesn't really plan things out, okay, what are your goals then? What do you want to come out of this Ramadan? And how are you going to achieve this? You know, sometimes people set goals, but it's just not very realistic. And at the end of the day, you look back on it, if you didn't achieve something and you think, oh, you feel like a failure in a way, and you feel like, oh, wow, okay, well, I didn't even make the most out of Ramadan because I didn't complete this. When did I do this? I didn't, you know, so don't be so hard on yourself. You know, you are trying to make those changes, and inshallah, that will be granted to you. But also the end result is amazing, you know, having Eid. And I think that's also one thing that really does keep me going, is knowing there's going to be Eid. And Eid to me it is really special to me, but as a kid I found it even more special because it was just an exciting time. It was a wholesome time where it would just be all my family coming together, having amazing food, sharing memories, and dressing up in my cultural clothing, which I think it was so much fun because you don't get to do that every day. And I think making Eid special again in your life as an adult can really help you in Ramadan, because you're seeing the end result as something that is amazing and is exhilarating and it's a wholesome time. So I always try and see Eid in a more positive light, even as an adult, because maybe that special feeling has slightly gone over the years. But I'm trying to bring it back, and I'm trying to make it more special, that it's an amazing end result, inshallah, that we all have. And maybe we're all able to reconnect with our families. We're able to make new memories, and we're able to have just a fun time with our brothers and sisters. But inshallah, thank you for listening. From this hour, I hope you can feel like you can relate to some of the topics I touched on, and maybe you can use them as Ramadan tips and tricks to help you make your Ramadan more enjoyable. But inshallah, tune in next week where I speak to a phenomenal young woman who advocates for mental health, Tanya Marwa. I hope you have a blessed Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Whether you visit the Berry Furniture Showroom at 78B Fengate